So yeah, hello and welcome back to our second part of episode 4, Film Focus, our weekly independent movie review show, which we're talking about two more trailers, or two more films.
I'll get 2 more films and 4 more trailers.
And 4 more trailers, yes. We thought we'd keep it even for this episode, as we only did 4 last week, the last episode. I keep thinking we do this on like a weekly basis, but we do release them like one day after the other, so just getting used to it. We're still getting used to the idea of the show, really.
Yeah,
actually going live.
It's something like the fourth.
For the fourth time we've actually done this. So we're through our first month. Actually, this means after we finish this, we're through our first month of films. So this will be going on for 11 more months, and then we got a year. Oh my goodness! It's just amazing to think how quickly it's all gone already.
I know, it's scary that it's almost February.
Yeah.
And yesterday it was Christmas.
It's only yesterday. It was Christmas and New Year, and then all the work stuff happened since then. It's all just going off, isn't it?
There's always time for a film. God, that sounded corny.
Yeah, there's always time for 2 more films, actually, and we start with our first one, Friends with Benefits.
In short, you've got 2 friends who discover adding sex to their friendship makes things complicated.
Well, they're barely even friends, aren't they? Because Justin Timberlake moves to New York, is it? He moves to New York from LA on the promise of becoming like an art editor for GQ.
Yeah. And
the headhunter who shows him around, which sounds a bit sinister, but the person who shows him around the company and shows him New York, he starts having this benefits relationship with them.
They both just happen to have come out of really bad relationships, as you do in these sort of films. It was a lot better than I thought it would be, actually. I was expecting, because Justin Timberlake was in it, I was expecting something really bad, but it was actually...
Don't forget you have had Timberlake in The Social Network, so he was good in that. He can do some actually alright stuff when he doesn't take himself too seriously, and he doesn't in this film. The whole film doesn't take itself seriously, and...
It was good. I mean, the whole film moves at a really good pace. It's got light-hearted, mediocre sort of humour. Yeah, it's not crude.
No, and that was another surprising thing.
That was actually a really good thing. It wasn't crude.
Because we've seen a few comedies recently that just do go really crude.
The change-up.
The change-up just got really fucking crude throughout the entire thing, and that was what was worrying me about watching this film. It was just like, a film which is primarily about sex, and they could have made it really, really crude. And okay, there are some scenes that kind of cross a line, but
I don't think they
don't go.
They may approach the line, but they don't.
They don't go
full-heartedly crossing the line. Going, look at what we're doing.
Yeah, this is obscene and atrocious.
It's more sort of light-hearted humour. I think the atmosphere of the film was really good. The general pace of it was good. The acting was good for the kind of film it is. I'd say I gave this a 6 out of 10. I might have been a bit harsh giving it a 6. I'm going to raise that to 7.
Which is exactly what I gave it. And I gave it, because we talked about this before. But
Mr. Pickett, I'm going to raise it to 8.
Are you sure about that?
It's a light-hearted comedy.
Sure?
I'm just repeating myself now. I would actually give it an 8 out of 10. It was
really.
It doesn't rely on crude humour like The Change-Up did, or Bridesmaids. That scene in the wedding, the ton of wedding dresses.
Oh, the wedding
sits on the sink.
But there's stuff like that. But as I say, primarily dealing with sex. I mean, you could go really crude, and it does. I mean, there are a few little moments. I mean, you've got the mother, like the girl Mila Kunis. I'm probably saying that really wrong, her name, but her mother. Yeah, does go a little bit that way with all the stuff but
at the same time she doesn't
cross the line. It was all really well written. I mean, it wasn't about showing you graphic images. It was about like the dialogue between 2 characters. Yeah. And they focused on like them building up a relationship. And when that sort of stuff happens, actually, they can actually write that stuff rather well. And I actually found myself like laughing pretty hard at some of the jokes they made.
It was just sort of good, clean-hearted, honest sort of humour.
And it does have some cliche. It is a pretty cliched film in terms of the general plot of it. It just follows any sort of romantic comedy you have seen before.
You know what's going to happen, but it's an enjoyable film.
Yeah, it's enjoyable for what it is. I don't know what else I saw. The kind of when they get to Las Vegas. I mean, obviously they get to know each other and go to Las Vegas as well, where Justin Timberlake comes from.
Yeah.
I think the pacing of the film just kind of takes a bit of a nosedive, and I think they might.
Yeah,
I mean, it is important to kind of, in this romantic comedy, they do kind of set up the fact that they are going to fall in love, so they do know a bit about each other.
Yeah, I mean, with his dad having Alzheimer's, I thought that's actually really sad. But at the same time, towards the end of the film, he's the one who inspires.
Yeah, and the thing is, like I said, when it's all really kind of light-hearted humour up until that point, and then they go to LA and it kind of just goes all really serious. And I thought it was going to take a sort of turn of like films like Click with Adam Sandler, where it's really funny, for like the first hour, and then it just gets really depressing and really dark.
Click.
And Click was right. Yeah,
the scene in the hospital. Oh god, that scene.
Yeah. If you haven't seen Click, I would actually recommend watching it because it is a good film.
It's a good
but it was marketed so poorly.
Yeah.
Because everyone said, "Oh, this is a real feel-good comedy," and for half the film, you are morbidly depressed at what is going on because
it's only when it gets into the last 10-15 minutes you're thinking,
thank God that it all righted itself and everything. But yeah, and I seriously thought that Friends with Benefits was going to turn out to something really depressing like that and kind of redeem itself slightly at the end. But
no,
but with the thing that with the dad and Alzheimer's, how it was going, he seemed to be just getting worse and worse and worse.
But I loved it, but it didn't. I mean, obviously Alzheimer's, but his character ended on a high note.
So obviously, he is getting worse, but he still managed to,
he still managed to give Justin Timberlake a push in the right direction.
And the whole way he wins her over in the end. I mean, we're not. I think we can kind of spoil this film as much as we want.
What's going to happen
because
I mean, I love the closing scene. Where was it? Is that the everyone's doing the dance?
Oh, the flash mobs. They use flash mobs, which I love. I love watching flash mobs. They're really funny. And they do one right at the start of the film where they just kind of pop up in the middle of a flash mob in Times Square. It's brilliant. They just have all these like big choreographed dances that just happen randomly. And it's all really good fun, and that's just the general theme of the film. Is just having good fun. It's a feel good film. Like I said earlier, I'm just repeating myself now. Yeah.
But it's not crude. It doesn't rely on crude humour. The swearing, it doesn't have loads of swearing in it. It's sort of minimal swearing.
When they need to use swearing, they use it for the kind of like jokes that need it.
Yeah.
And when they touch on like kind of the rough subjects and everything, they do kind of use a little bit of swearing as everyone gets a bit irate about everything.
Yeah.
Sorry,
like I've said before, I'm not on some moral crusade against swearing. It's just, but the films you watch, and it's you've got effing this, effing that, and this.
I mean, we mentioned it last episode with David Tennant from Fright Night, whose character was just there to swear at everything and everyone, and pretty much do nothing else.
That's all he did,
and it was. You think it might have been like a little ploy from Hollywood. Oh, this is the good guy Doctor Who. Let's make him
a bad boy.
Yeah,
it's just like
he's wearing like all these leather pants and tattoos and and it's just like this kind of rock star image of him. And it's just like I still don't believe it. He's still a bit of an annoying ponce.
Oh yeah. Stone Cold Silence.
The Stone Cold Silence was like David Tennant just kills the conversation right there.
He was good as Doctor Who, but he didn't. I don't know why he even wanted to do. Well, that's Fright Night.
Yeah, you really like Fright Night, and I cannot believe
but
it.
I told you it could have got a 10 if it hadn't been for David Tennant. But anyway,
why do you even come close to it? Oh no,
But that's one side. We'll bring it back to the film we're talking about.
Friends with Benefits. Which you gave.
I gave it. I'm going to give it an 8.
You're going to give it an 8? That's pretty high. That's pretty high for the film. I mean, I give it a 7. But I usually reserve like the 8, 9, and 10 scores for like really, really good films, like films that are kind of spectacular or groundbreaking, or one of those films that I just really, really enjoyed.
I give this one an 8 because it didn't, like I said earlier, it didn't rely on crude humour. It didn't rely on swearing. It was just. Just really well written. The pace of the film flowed well. It didn't suddenly leap from one thing to another film and drag on.
Like Fright Night.
Friday Night alone.
Friday Night. I'm sorry. But yeah,
how can you say about Friday Night was beautiful?
It was not beautiful.
It
was nowhere near beautiful.
I was really glad for once we got to watch a horror film. The show's only been going a month, but
Friends with Benefits, I thought it was funny, it was enjoyable, and it was definitely a big surprise for me, but not like spectacular entertainment. I mean, if you're stuck for something to watch, definitely, this should be at the top of your list.
If you're sitting down, I'd put this one. If you want some feel-good film to watch, I'd recommend this one.
I think that'll end it there. So 7 from me,
8.
And 8 from you. Fair enough.
We'll just look of disgust.
I was like, yeah, well, you and your 8s over there. Although, Anyway, and then we could move on to
8.
Oh yes, 8. Yes, my 8. Well, those are reserved for good films. Which this one was. Anyway,
moving on to the trailers.
Yeah, we'll go with the trailers. And our first one, if you want to find the right notes that you've got.
So I'm just moving paper around.
He's just moving paper around. He doesn't actually have notes there. He's just got sheets of paper. He likes to keep them on his lap just randomly.
You're lucky. You can put your notes up there. I've got nothing there.
Well, you should have you should put something there, like another cabinet or something. You should.
I'm not pointlessly moving a cabinet.
Just like I'm really desperate. I'm really desperate to have something to put my script on.
No, don't worry. I'll soldier on as it is.
Our trailers start with The Salt of Life, which is a Spanish comedy drama
about a middle-aged man, and it looks good. I know trailers can be misleading. Don't worry, I've been misled by trailers before. I remember when Serenity came out, the trailer was awful, but the film was really good.
The film is awesome.
I just love the bad guy in Serenity. I know I'm evil. I have no illusions. Oh yeah.
But this is nothing like Serenity at all. We're having this misleading thing about, but this is nothing like Serenity.
No, this isn't Serenity. That was just an example of a bad trailer that turned out to be good. This trailer,
I don't know.
It may have shown a bit too much humour in it. Not too much humour, just a bit too much of the story.
Maybe. I mean, but to be honest, I'm still thinking. What is this film really about? Because all you know is he may be having like a midlife crisis. He's dealing with his mother, who's ill, in some form. We don't really know what's up with her, and apart from that, you don't know much else.
That's good though.
Yeah, and that's good, but it keeps me interested, and I want to see what happens. And it being a foreign film,
it could
beware you subtitle-fearing folk. They're out there, and the film we're about to talk about next.
Dan, I got in late last night, and District 13 was on TV, and I love that film.
Was it subtitled?
Yes,
it was subtitled. Oh, that's all right then, as long as it's subtitled.
I've got the DVD of it, and it's just funny when you watch the voiced dubs.
The English dubs.
And you can see the mouths closed, but the voices carry on going. And no.
It's such we'll get back to dubbed films probably later this episode, but we move on from the Salt of Life to... Salt of Life is alright, I guess.
I'm curious about it.
Spanish comedy.
Didn't give too much away.
Yeah, we'll see what it's like.
It's just how it goes, really.
We move on to 28 Hotel Rooms. Which out of the two films that seem to be based on sex, the two trailers we watched that were based on sex, this was definitely the better one because it actually looked to have more of a
story. Again, it didn't give too much away in the trailer, and
the other one we didn't include because it was just too fucking weird.
The other one was just bizarre.
Yeah, we would sit there going, what? What are you doing? I was sitting there just looking at it in completely befuddled while I just like, what?
I was just trying to work it out.
But we're not going to tell you what that one was, so you can find that for yourself. But 28 Hotel Rooms was interesting. It was all the kind of emotional music.
And emotional background music.
A little bit of dialogue at the end of it, but not much.
Trailer that kept you interested. It could be good, it might not be good. A drama, a drama.
Just an average drama. We're not really
drama, a bit of sex thrown in, emotional stuff, and
You've got yourself a winner for awards there, and
no. If you wanted a winner for awards, you'd throw in all the really well-known actors.
Oh, this is true.
Stuff. I mean, remember, was it Tinker Tailor?
Yeah, they got like tons of British actors. High. Mind you, though, it is getting like loads of Oscar nominations and everything.
Yeah, but if you'd had unknown actors in that film, who could have delivered, who probably could have delivered just as equally a good performance, but they wouldn't have got half the credit.
And the surprising thing to me, though, about the Tinker Tailor Oscar nominations, Gary Oldman, who played George Smiley, has never won an Oscar or received an Oscar nomination. Apparently,
that's something.
And I was reading in the Metro at work the other day. I was just like, just reading it, and it was like, yeah, Gary's really pleased with his Oscar nod, and he's like, he's never received one. I was like, really? Not even for like.
Deserves it.
Yeah, not even like for any film he's done. I was like, really? And he's been around a long time.
Leon, Fifth Element.
Oh, he's in Leon, isn't he? Yeah, Leon. Yeah. And apparently he's received the Best Actor role he's received the nomination for Best Actor in.
He did a good job.
Tinker Tailor, and he deserves it. But we're getting really sidetracked here.
Yeah,
we'll move on.
Sorry.
And we're going to move on to your favourite trailer of the week.
Lockout!
Oh,
this is brilliant! Yeah. A space prison, a prison in space.
Go for that one,
and the voiceover.
Did you just say a space prison in space? Did you just say a space prison in space?
Because that's how much I love the
That's
trailer.
how much in space it is.
Yeah, it's not just in space, it's in space.
But yes, it's essentially the president's daughter trapped on a maximum security prison in space, and this the best of the best is sent to retrieve her after the prison goes AWOL, and
those trailers you see were like one man
against an army. Yeah,
it's going to try anything. They could have sent up a whole platoon,
and the thing
but
is,
they didn't. It's just one man.
Yeah,
has to rescue the president's daughter. Has to be the president's daughter.
Yeah, he can fall in love with her and everything. Yeah.
The background music was beautiful. It's only a trailer. I know. Like I said, I know trailers can be misleading. I know, but I really want to see this one when it comes out.
You think if you'd have seen a trailer for Killer Elite, you would have been really stoked for it.
I know.
But it was really bad.
I mean, this one looks good. The main acting guy, I can't even remember his name.
Guy Pearce.
It looks beautiful.
It does, and it's Luc Besson as well. It's written by Luc Besson, the transporter guy, and he did and he's going to be.
Luc Besson.
He's pretty shit hot, really.
Yeah,
he does some really good things.
Right.
Apart from Colombiana. I mean, writing Colombiana.
Come on, everyone deserves. It's like Colombiana was good, but we reviewed that last episode.
Yeah, so you can go check that one. Go watch our videos.
Basically, Lockout, prison in space.
As long as it keeps the momentum going, keeps the action sequence after action sequence.
Oh, come on.
And but you thought Colombiana would.
Come on, Transporter 2, the bomb underneath the car, spinning around in the air.
I know you mentioned that at least once an episode.
You can't.
There are certain things we just mention once an episode. I know already, but I think Transporter 2 is going to be one of those things you do.
If you haven't seen Transporter 2, anyway,
any of the Transporter films actually, you can go for it. And the last trailer is The Hunter.
Curious to see about this one.
A hunter goes on to.
Willem Dafoe goes on to hunt some rare tiger.
The Tasmanian tiger or something.
The guy who's employing him suddenly hires someone to go out and kill Willem Dafoe.
It seemed like that, didn't it? It seemed like someone was out to get him or following him to see what he was doing. It looks like one of those kind of edgy dramas where not much happens, but when it does happen, it's going to be kind of fast, brutal and shocking, and you're going to be left with some sort of oh my god, what the hell happened?
I just want to watch it because I want to know why the guy who hired him to go and kill the tiger
then
goes and hires someone else to go and kill Willem Dafoe.
You want to know the twist, don't you? And it looks like one of those films that's setting itself up for a twist, and it might be really shit, but like Apollo 18 shit.
It won't be Apollo 18.
No, it's not going to be a horror film anyway.
Apollo 18, well, yeah.
Yeah, and the less said about that film, the better, really.
Moving on.
Yeah. I think that finishes our trailers, so we had a pretty good batch this week. No documentaries, which we were really surprised about.
It's funny, we were saying earlier how every week there seems to be a theme with the trailers. We've done the dramas, the documentaries. This week, the first couple of trailers were sex, and we thought, oh great.
Every single trailer is going to have really just weird sex scenes in it, and it's like, thankfully, no.
But luckily it didn't.
But the one trailer we did omit from this selection this week is, what was it called? After Fall, Winter.
Oh,
and that was just really bizarre, but we are talking about it. We're not going to talk about it, though, because if you want to search it up, it's on iTunes or the apple.com. So After Fall, Winter is what it's called. Fucking bizarre little film.
Moving on, that brings us
talking of bizarre films, this is one of them.
The Extraordinary Adventures of Adele Blanc-Sec.
Yes, and it's Luc Besson.
Luc Besson.
Back to...
I can't credit him enough for the originality of this film, I really can't.
Well, it's based... It was really, really original, really funny, and really just enjoyable to watch, and it was based on a series of books. I don't know, who wrote them, how long ago they were published, but... apparently, I was looking on like the IMDb message boards after I watched the film, and apparently he strays really far from the books and everything. So people are kind of getting really upset about him that he's like taken it out of like context and everything. But considering what film came out of it, I do not mind at all. I do not care how original they are to the books, because this was a stonkingly good film. A really, really good film.
It was. I mean, it's set in the early 20th century Paris.
Yeah.
Based on the comics. It was sort of Indiana Jones with
just really kind of like
just
kind of classy French elegance put onto it.
It was just so well done, and Luc Besson he really was back on form. Last week we had Colombiana.
Not too good. Really not good.
It was passable. It could have been better, but obviously...
Well, we have different opinions on it, but this one was just like just like firing on all cylinders for this one.
A woman's looking for the cure because her sister,
she's kind of paralysed. Yeah, an important thing when watching this film, she's looking for a cure for her sister, who's been like kind of pretty much paralysed, and like has been... Essentially, she's been lobotomised. It's pretty much the thing, isn't it? Mm. I didn't realise this. I thought she was fucking dead for half the film. I thought she was actually...
I did too, actually.
I thought she was a corpse.
Yeah, because the eyes and just...
Yeah, and because I eventually was like kind of like, she can't be dead. This makes the film really dark. And eventually, I did see her breathing, so she still is breathing. And I was like, oh fuck, thank God for that. I mean, she's still alive. I mean, because the character Adele Blanc-Sec is actually a really good character. Really really funny, really informative. Like really knowledgeable and everything. And then she gets back to Paris. And the thing that she would have a corpse lying in a bed in a spare room was just like, that doesn't work at all.
I thought the film was brilliant. It was so original. It was done in sort of comic book style. And the comedy was good. The pace of the film was good. It never got boring.
Oh, no.
And
the villains. What villains they had... I mean,
they were beautiful.
You had one right at the start. There's a villain right at the start which disappears throughout the entire film.
Oh, and the closing scene.
The closing scene, he comes back, but we can't tell you any more than that, because that closing scene was the most hilarious and kind of saddening thing you've seen, isn't it?
It was sort of like, oh, she's on.
Oh no! Don't say any more. Don't. We can't say any more than that, because you've got to see this film and you've got to watch that end scene. And Luc Besson, thank Christ, has said that he wants to do a sequel to it, and I really do want him to do a sequel to it. And there's some people that are saying he hasn't stuck to the format of the book.
He might to make that up in the sequel. I mean,
and that's why
I've got to go down the comic book store down the lanes now and
just get some Adele Blanc-Sec,
comics. But it was really, it put the comics to one side. It was just original in terms of swearing. Which that theme keeps coming up a lot, but good comedy, and it was
an extraordinary adventure as well. Extraordinary action scenes.
The tunes near the end.
The tunes
I can't see.
But everything that happens through the film, you don't expect it. You don't expect it, and the fact that just the fact that everyone speaks French, you can kind of throw that aside.
Well, no, I mean just watch the subtitles, but
no. It's not that. It's the thing that happens with all the tunes at the end. The fact that they all speak French a little weird, but we can pass that to one side. They all understand and speak.
Well, they're all from France.
Originally, that's where they're all from. Yeah, but
the Egyptian teams.
Yeah, no, but the whole film was just one thrill ride after another, and it's got brilliant characters. It's brilliantly told. It looks fantastic, and
it doesn't fail to deliver. And Luc Besson, he was back on form.
I would only have to ding it for like a bit of ropey CGI at the start with the pterodactyl. You got the pterodactyl, and if you don't know about the pterodactyl, it's pretty much plastered over every DVD cover and poster for this film. So if you don't know about it, you just no. I don't want to know it.
I like that sort of. I love my B movies, but I love that sort of low budget feeling to the CGI at the beginning of it. Like Luc Besson thought, I could invest in this, but screw it. Yeah. I'm just going to do this instead.
And it's definitely telling that you've got some films that if the actual film is good, you don't mind it so much. I mean, I'm going to go back to Fright Night here. I apologise, but there is that one scene where there is one scene in the film where they have this one-shot car thing, and they do this long one-shot take through the inside of a car in Fright Night, and the CGI that's going on around the car is ropey as fuck. It is the dodgiest thing I've seen in a long time.
Fred, we've been over this. Fright Night is meant to be a bad film.
It's not meant. I'm sure with the amount of money they pumped into it.
No, it was meant. Do you remember Planet Terror?
Planet Terror, yeah, but that is meant to be a bad film. Yes,
that was meant to be a bad film. Fright Night wasn't on the same lines, but I mean, Planet Terror was better. If you haven't seen Planet Terror,
why not? So good.
That scene I love in Planet Terror is just the guy's dying near the end. He touches the woman on her stomach and says he never misses. And they had sex earlier on in the film, and it turns out she's pregnant.
Yeah, but that is meant to be B-movie stuff. I don't think Fright Night was. I think Fright Night was a genuine stab at A-list horror and
Fright
comedy.
Night was more sort of modern.
No, but we're getting sidetracked
early
again.
20th. It's like you got the teenage college kids who just happen to live near a vampire.
Of course they do. Everyone does. I live near a vampire myself.
But it's taken us away from the film.
Yeah.
I gave the Extraordinary Adventures of Adele Blanc-Sec 8 out of 10.
And same for me. I gave it an 8 out of 10 as well. It was so good. It was probably. I don't know if it's on a par with Drive as like the best film we've seen so far this year. I think I'll have to look at our scores from like other films we've seen this year so far, but
to be honest, Fright Night's my favourite one.
Yeah, Fright Night. I'm gonna have to put that in our like little database of stuff. So when we come to like the end of the year, we're doing like best and worst films. You're gonna pick Fright Night. Unless like there are like loads of other films that come above it.
I love the sort of horror. It can cross the line. I mean, the Human Centipede. I've said it before. That crossed the line. That was so depressing. Hobo with a shotgun. That crossed the line. The scene with the flamethrower on the school bus. But Fright Night,
I haven't seen that film yet.
Fright Night, it was old school style. It was trying to be bad. It was bad. The really awful acting, the cheesiness factor in the film alone deserves a 10. But David Tennant drained that cheesiness out of it, and that's why I gave it a 9.
But Adele Blanc-Sec, an 8 out of 10, and definitely worthy of it. I mean, we both agree on this. This was just. For me, it's the best film of the week. Don't you start going on about Fright Night again.
Everyone's entitled to their own opinion.
Of course they are, except when it's wrong.
Yes, when it's wrong.
Yeah,
but give us. We're going off on a tangent.
Yeah, Adele Blanc-Sec is definitely worthy of the 8. It's probably just one of the most entertaining films we've seen this year. You need to seek this film out. Yeah, one of the best action films we've seen in a long time.
Easily the best film I've seen this year.
Yeah. Oh, wait, I thought it wasn't. Anyway, before we get back into that again.
The 2 best films I've seen this year. Fright Night and The Adventures of Adele Blanc-Sec.
Oh, dear. Anyway, yes, so that pretty much ends our argument.
Moving on.
Our weekly argument for this time.
Could you give it a 4 out of 10? It deserves so much more.
And we'll beat each other up after we've turned the camera off. But yes, thank you all very much for watching.
Yeah,
and we will see you.
Take care and see you next week.
Yeah, same time on Sunday. See you later, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Yes.